With 2 weeks left in the NFL season and the Titans being 5-10 and eliminated from playoff contention, I think it's time we start talking about draft options for the Tennessee Titans team and Ran Carthon and how exactly you should go about this offseason, looking toward the NFL draft, as there's a lot of options and there's a lot of needs on this Titans team. We're going to tell you all about what I think the Titans should do and ultimately what the best options are looking with the Titans with the 7th overall pick as they currently sit right now. Now, this is why you subscribe. We're going to have Titans offseason coverage, talking free agents, talking draft picks, talking pretty much everything you could think about in the offseason, all right here on Titans Today. So, although the Titans may not exactly be playing the greatest football right now and are eliminated from playoff contention, it's all right. We still got a lot to talk about, so hit that subscribe button. We'd appreciate it if you join us and have a good time with us right here on Titans Today. Let's look at the current draft order as it sits today, as the Bears are number 1 with that pick from Carolina, Cardinals at 2, Commanders at 3, Patriots with their win over the Broncos jump from 2 to 4. I don't know if they're happy or sad about that. Bill Belichick may have kept his job, though. They go to 4. The Giants, after they lost to the Eagles just a couple days ago. There you go. They're number 5. Number 6, the Chargers. Number 7, there we are, the Titans. And then the Bears back with number 8 right there. So Titans right now at number 7. Technically, there is still a shot they could go higher than 7. As of right now, there is a lot of 5 and 10 teams, but the Giants have the highest strength of schedule of the 5 and 10 teams, which is why they are at number 5 and not number 7. The Titans, though, if they lose out, there is a chance that the Chargers could win a game, the Giants could win a game, the Patriots could win 2. There's a lot of kind of moving parts here that they could jump into a higher draft slot. And given the Titans play the Texans and the Jaguars here, there's a really good potential here that they could lose these last 2 games. But with that being said, what will they do with this draft pick of 7 or possibly even higher? Let's start talking about that right here with the first need for the Tennessee Titans being the offensive line. Now, we've talked about this all year. This Titans offensive line is not good. In fact, it's one of the worst in the NFL, giving up a ton of sacks and really putting a hard choice for Will Levis and Ryan Tannehill as they go through their progressions because they don't have a lot of time. So we've talked about these 3 guys here before on the channel, but it's important to bring them back up. Olu Fashanu from Penn State and Joe Alt are the top 2 guys that you want to go after in this draft. And given you're at pick number 7, the odds of you getting them are pretty high. When we talked about them last, the Titans were around the 10 to the 13 slot. Well, now at 7, there's a good chance Olu or Joe Alt will be available. And then obviously Talisa Fuagat is also there from Oregon State. He was kind of a secondary option, but wanted to put him on here in case Olu and Alt get taken before. Or if you happen to win a couple of games, he could be the top option. It just depends if Ran Carthon wants to go with an offensive line choice here. And it's clear to see why he would want to go with, because I mentioned the sacks have been terrible this year for the Tennessee Titans. They have been giving up at an absurd clip, 56 this season, which ranks them tied for 4th in the NFL in sacks allowed. The Giants obviously way above that number at 77, and then the rest of the group kind of all tangled up right there. Jets at 61, Commanders at 60, Titans and Panthers both sitting at 56. And it's clear to see that if you have Will Levis as a potential franchise quarterback in the future, you need to fix this next year. And you need to give him a shot. I mean, even this year without a good offensive line, with Peter Skoronski coming in here and being the only top draft pick off the offensive line, being probably one of the better players as a rookie, you still need more guys. You need to sign somebody in free agency, and part of me thinks you need to use that first draft pick on an offensive line. That's the main issue. It's very clear. The receivers are pretty decent. Obviously, Will Levis is fine. The secondary is a struggle bus, but we'll talk about that in a second. Your linebacking core and your defensive line have been great, so I think O-line has got to be the first issue fixed. Would you like to see the Tennessee Titans draft an offensive lineman in the 2024 NFL Draft? I want you to get in the comments section of today's video and let me know if this would be your choice for that round 1 pick. Type Y for yes if you want the offensive lineman. Type in for no if you want to go a little more spicy with that round 1 pick. The second option I mentioned just a second ago, it's a quarterback. That defensive backfield for the Titans have been not great, to say the least. There's a lot of options with this, too, and I think there's one that stands out above the rest. That's Kool-Aid McKinstry off of Alabama. He's number 12 on the big board right now, and overall, I like what I've seen from Kool-Aid, and if you're going to go cornerback, you're going to get him, especially now that you're at the 7th pick. Even if you win out, which seems pretty unlikely at this certain point in time, you're still going to be in line to get Kool-Aid. He's been a great defensive back. He only had really one bad game this year, and it was against Texas. We'll have to see what he does in the playoff game against Michigan. I'll say this, I don't trust their wide receivers. I don't think Michigan's that good. But in the national championship, when he faces Washington and Romo Dunes or Texas, and he re-ups against Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy, that's where we're going to see if Kool-Aid is worth that 12th overall pick. I suspect they will be there. Don't think Michigan will be. Nate Wiggins from Clemson, also a good guy to have. And then Cooper DeJean. Those two guys, if they fall back into the first round, maybe the back part, and you draft an offensive lineman with that first pick, there's a chance you trade up in the second round from the second round to get back into the first with the second pick and get either Nate Wiggins or Cooper DeJean, or maybe you just get Kool-Aid with that round 1 pick, and that would be a very good add in my opinion. Now, before we move on to the other options here on the draft, make sure you are using your PrizePicks promotion, because I'm telling you, you get $100 free on your first deposit match if you go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of those $100. Now, PrizePicks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game, and it's cool because you can now combo your projections with NBA, with NFL. You can put it across all the sports, so you can put more on, say, Travis Kelce touchdowns and Jason Tatum points. I got my PrizePicks in this Saturday's game with the Dallas Cowboys taking on the Detroit Lions. I've got Jared Goff, the more on passing yards. I've got Dak Prescott, the more on passing yards. And I've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, the more on receiving yards. I'm hoping for an offensive game. And given last time the Seahawks, or rather the Cowboys, had a primetime game in AT&T Stadium, it was against the Seahawks. It was an offensive onslaught. I think we'll see that again, especially from a team who just clinched their division. And Dak Prescott, who, against a pretty lackluster Detroit secondary, I think should go off. Make sure you go to PrizePicks again, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and use that code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. What makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app? Once again, prizepicks.com/CLNS, and you coded CLNS for that first deposit match of up to $100. We're going to put that in the comments and the description of this video. Take Kool-Aid, man. Not only would this be like a cool thing, because Kool-Aid McKinstry is a freaking amazing name, but he has been really good at Alabama. I kind of mentioned a little bit of his stats of what exactly he did this season with Alabama, but he's been a lockdown cornerback pretty much all year long. If you look at his stats, his tackles are pretty low, his pass deflections are high. That's a good thing with a cornerback. You don't want a lot of tackles because then he's having to catch the people that caught the ball. This guy has been absolutely exceptional all season long, and I'm excited to see what he can do coming in to the NFL. I love what I've seen from him, and I think he would work perfectly in this Titans secondary, especially with Sean Murphy-Bunting potentially on his way out. Obviously, Christian Fulton not going to be signed back. Cornerback would certainly be useful. Now, the third choice, I think we have to go offense here and go wide receiver. That would be a fun thing to have, as the wide receivers aren't exactly bad. You have D-Hop. You have Treylon Burks, but Nick Westbrook-Ikine is going to be a free agent. Chris Moore is a free agent. Do you sign him back, or do you draft one of the top guys in the college football landscape? Now, there's still a shot for Marvin Harrison. I think people forget this, but technically the Titans lose out. The #2 pick is technically still in play, and you have to take Marvin if you get to that point. I'm assuming the Bears will trade out of that #1 pick and give Caleb Williams get a haul of someone else. I could be wrong, but Marvin Harrison would be the first choice if he is on the board. If you have that pick in the first round and Marvin Harrison is there, you take him, no doubt. Now, the other two options are Malik Neighbors, the LSU wide receiver, who had an incredible year this year, and then Rome Odunze with Washington, who has played great with Michael Penix Jr. as his quarterback. I think he'd do well with Will Levis. He's really, really good at route running, understands really just a football landscape, has that football IQ, and I like the way that he kind of handles himself. If you watch the Pac-12 championship game, it was one of his better games of the season. He just had this certain confidence to him, like you knew he was that guy on the field. I want that. I saw what Will Levis and his confidence has done for his game. Romo Dunze, same type of thing. Let's go back to Marvin, though, because he would be hard to get. And I think I want to go back to this because I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I think he would be great to have on the Tennessee Titans. But you would need to lose both these games, and you would need some help to jump yourself back into the top 5 and probably be at least #3 to even have a shot. If he drops past 3, I would be severely, severely surprised. There's part of me that says that the Bears may not trade that first pick and just take Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, they have given the 8th overall pick right now. You take Marvin Harrison Jr. right there. You still got the 8th overall pick to do what you want. What position would you like the Titans to draft with their first-round pick in 2024? I want you to get in the comments. Let me know. Wide receiver, offensive line. Is it a cornerback? Is it somebody else that I don't even know that I'm a position that I'm not talking about? Well, get in the comment section and let me know what position would you like the Titans to draft here in this first-round pick. The fourth need is a lesser need of all these ones, but I think it's one that is good to be filled, and that's tight end. And I love Okonkwo, but there are two amazing tight ends in this draft that you could get in potentially that round 1 pick, or maybe in round 2 if one of these guys falls. Now, if it does have a chance to fall, it's probably Jadeveon Sanders. Brock Bowers is going to be a first-round pick out of Georgia, has been an absolute insane player. There's a little piece of me that says he may have won the Heisman or been a part of the Heisman voting if he didn't get injured this year. This guy's insane, and he's a top-tier level tight end talent. Now, Jadeveon Sanders has the build of Kyle Pitts, understands what's going on at the football field, and had one of his best games most recently in the Big 12 Championship where he had a touchdown and really played an amazing game. I like what I saw from him, and he could be one that falls into that second round. That would be a nice pickup. If you get the first-round pick and you pick up an offensive lineman, an Alt or Fashanu, and then you have Jadeveon in that second round, I like that draft start right there. I like that draft start right now. Let's go to Okonkwo, though, because I know some of you are screaming at me, Jace, why are we doing this? We have Okonkwo. I love Okonkwo. I do, too. I do. But at the same time, you have to look at this guy and understand he's not the greatest at blocking. And does he know how to receive the ball? Yes. But I think with Will Levis, a 2 tight end set would be nice, especially if you don't go wide receiver with that number 1 pick. Adding a tight end at the second slot with it being Jadeveon and having in a wide receiver, it'd be great because you can have Jadeveon and Shiggy both be blockers. And even though both of them aren't the greatest, Jadeveon a little bit better, I would think. Obviously, haven't seen him against NFL caliber talent just yet. But you have Jadeveon and Okonkwo on either side of the field on a 2 tight end set. You have Tajay Spears if you don't have Derrick Henry. Otherwise, you have Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears in the backfield, and then you just have DeAndre Hopkins and Traylon Burks out wide. I'm scared of that offense right here with Will Levis. Now, obviously, that offensive line needs to be better, but that's a good offense to have. So I like Okonkwo. I still think that Jadeveon would be a good pick in round 2 if he is still sitting there. Round 1, I would think that might be a reach depending on where you are with the picks. But if you get to round 2 and he's sitting there, if you trade up a little bit back into round 1 for him, I think that'd be a good option. Well, I'll tell you what, make sure you like that video if you love the Titans. We're still here. We're still supporting the Tennessee Titans. I know they're eliminated from playoff contention. I know that a lot of things aren't really going their way, but we still love the Titans. We still support the Titans. So hit that like button if you're with us. And as always, Titans fans, tighten up.